glitter, glitter. Yeah, that's toast. Unfortunately, this video is not clickbait. This is the end with my N54. Thursday, May 29th, 2025. Took a long road trip. I didn't know that an injector was leaking. I wasn't doing any crazy pulls. There was a lot of traffic, about 4 hours of driving. And I drove pretty smoothly on the first half of the trip. And on the second half of the trip, I started doing some pulls with some other people that I encountered on this road trip. And after doing a pull, I noticed a knocking sound, and I already knew right away what it was, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse until I could finally pull over to a spot where I wouldn't get towed away by the state and could actually wait for a tow truck that I picked from AAA to come pick me up. But that knocking sound just kept getting louder and louder and louder, and I knew exactly what it was, and I knew that this motor was toast. I'm not rebuilding it again this time. And here are my reasons for that. Before I left for this trip, I checked the oil level. I always carry a quart. Actually, I'm gonna go open the trunk right now. I always carry at least 1 quart of 540 with me. Always. So I checked the oil level, full. Excellent. I have a Nexus oil pressure switch over here too. I have that installed in my car just to make sure I keep oil pressure, and if it loses oil pressure for any reason, it will shut it off. All the safety features you could think of, the boxes have been checked. So what freaking happened here? Well, what you can't really see in the video is just the smell of fuel when I pulled out this oil filter, and just how thin the oil was. All you really see is just how sparkly the oil filter was. And this oil was watery and it reeked of fuel. My oil is very thin and very watery. 1 week ago from the time of filming, so today is May 30th, about May 23rd, I did go ahead and change the oil to this BMW. It was about that 3,000 mile oil mark where I always change the oil every 3,000 miles. So this is completely surprising, to say the least. My theory as to what happened here is a leaky fuel injector. Which is funny because I just serviced these a little bit ago. On a long road trip, contaminated my oil, made it so it loses its lubricating properties, and it fried my bearings. And now I have rod knock on this motor, and I'm not saving it this time. Everything was running perfect. Things were looking great. I was getting ready to start putting some ethanol inside of and doing some events this summer. Like I said, I just changed the oil. My temperatures were looking great. My oil level was looking great, and just starts knocking out of nowhere on the freeway. Considering I just rebuilt this engine less than a year ago, and the fact that I'm in grad school, I got 1 year left of grad school, and I just don't want to let this thing sit for as long a time as it takes for me to complete grad school, get married, all the other things that life is throwing at me. I think the wisest decision is going to be for me to part this thing out. It's painful to think about, not something I want to do. It's just something I have to do, and that's just what life calls for. Is this an issue with the N54? No, it's something that could have been prevented. Yeah, we can say all that, but like I said, it was running perfectly before my road trip, and it failed during a road trip, which is just kind of silly. I just gotten a new high pressure fuel pump. I double checked all the injectors. I know exactly what injector it is now, so I have, instead of 12 injectors I'm gonna part out with, I'm just gonna part out 9 just to make sure that everything's safe. So I found the leaky injector, but the whole bank 1 is not gonna be bank 1 injectors are not getting parted out. Bank 2 injectors will be sold along with my backup set of index 12 injectors. But that is the plan. Will I get another N54 in the future? Absolutely. just right now, I can't take on another project. I got too much going on with my grad school. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of things going on in my life right now. It's just not the time and place to have a project car. And rather than let it sit, I can put the money towards things like the GTR or paying off my student loans, things like that. And that's the route I've decided to go down. But I love the N54. I'll definitely get another one later on down the road. I'll probably buy one that's already been single turbo, to be honest. But life necessitates that I part this car out and go from there. And that's the update. Again, wish this was clickbait, but you've seen this video, you know what's going on, and it's been a pleasure making lots of videos on N54s, and again, I will be back. This is hands down the most fun car I've ever had. GTR, it's fun. It's not as fun as the N54, but you know what? You gotta make the hard decisions. And you have to understand, I've already rebuilt this motor. I've already I've been working on this car for 5 years and I don't regret it. I've learned so much about cars and engines and building and tuning and all the people that I've met. I don't regret this. If I could go back and change it, I wouldn't. Just with all the friends that I've made and everything I've had to do for this car, I don't regret it whatsoever. It's been worthwhile, and again, I'll definitely be buying another one in the future. However, I have to make the hard decisions now, and then I'll be back in the future, guaranteed.